Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso at thewatchbox.com, your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. And today we are discussing a 2019 50th anniversary limited edition of 169 pieces. This is the TAG Heuer Monaco 50th anniversary limited edition dedicated to the decade of 2009 to 2019, and it was part of a series of 5 169-piece limited edition Monacos, each one of which represented one decade of the half century between 1969 and 2019. Unlike all of the others, this watch features an exclusive media-blasted steel case and charcoal dial, which gives it a distinct look even amongst these special series. So the watch is 39 millimeters and square. In terms of its other dimensions, it's 14.2 millimeters thick. It's 47.5 millimeters from lug to lug, and it has a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist, 16 centimeters in circumference. You can see it's not the thinnest watch on earth, but it'll fit underneath a jacket. From overhead, it actually isn't that wide across the wrist, though you can see, we'll do the down the barrel shot right here. You can see that down the barrel, it has a lot of presence on the wrist. While it's not even close to the edge of my wrist, it is a sizable watch, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend this for a wrist smaller than 15 centimeters in circumference, just because it does feel like a large presence. The timepiece includes a high-grade strap that's perforated in an evocative vintage fashion, as many of the original perforated straps in this pattern would have been synthetic. This is a luxury watch, so we take that 70s look, but we bring it back to the future with leather. Calfskin in black, a lightly contrasting stitch. It's not white here. It's actually a sort of dark gray, or charcoal or anthracite to match the dial. There's bolstering to add volume, and as you can see on the underside, what actually says genuine leather is a rubber-lined underside of the strap. So the rubber is supple, and it separates the strap from the wrist, so it'll protect the leather from the moisture, sweat, and grit of your wrist. I should also mention that just as the case is media blasted, so too is the clasp, and this is where you're going to start to notice that TAG is happy to promote Heuer heritage without any technique d'avant-garde details added, as the clasp is branded Heuer, the dial is branded Heuer, the crown is branded Heuer, the case back is branded Heuer. The point, most of the nostalgic equity that the company has with collectors is tied up in the Heuer family name. Now, taking a quick look at the case, it is distinctively Monaco. Basically a square, but with a few well-chosen curves. You can see there's a bevel underneath. There's a little bit of a slope from side to side. You can just barely see the slope that dips in the middle and sweeps up to the edges of the case. And then there is a little transitional slope that rides in an angular fashion down off to the sides. But you see what I mean when I talk about the case having a dip in the center? It's like a ship that slopes down and then back up from end to end. The crown is all of high polish for contrast, and you can see that the lugs are short, stubby, and strong. We have geometrically faceted chronograph pushers. This is technically their caliber 11, which, though technically unrelated, is designed to evoke the original 9 o'clock crown caliber 11 that resulted from the fusion of a Buren micro-rotor base movement with a Dubois-Dupraz module back in 1969. It has the look, though technically this is based on a 2892 architecture or a Salida version thereof. So you'll note that there are facetings to these pushers. They're both satinated and polished, and then they have little shoulders on the flanks to protect them from shearing. Taking a look at the crystal, here it's sapphire, but it's got that same box section profile that you would have had on the original plexiglass. The dial is difficult to capture on camera because being charcoal, it's somewhere between gray and black, so it's an anthracite look. You can see there are actually laterally arrayed, polished and faceted applique indices, red varnished hands for the constant seconds, chronograph seconds and minutes, and then sunken silver metallic sunburst sub-registers with baton-style hands featuring small blackened tips at their edge. Underneath the case back, well, let's talk about the case back for a moment. You can see this is one of 169 made in this series. Of course, there were 5 sets of 169. This is the only one media blasted, and it is the 2009 to 2019 special edition representing that decade. 100 meters of water resistance, and then inside the case, we have a caliber 11 Modern nomenclature refers to a Sellita SW300, which is Sellita's version of an ETA 289282, with a Dubois de Praz vertical clutch chronograph module. And that allows, the module does, for a very smooth starting action because it's using a vertical clutch rather than a lateral coupling. It has bidirectional winding, a 40-hour power reserve, it beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. Combined, it features 59 joules, and it has all the underlying virtues of the SW300, including a hacking seconds function and a quick set date. This is an all-around sports watch that, if thrown on a water-resistant band, would be good for swimming. So while the Monaco, of course, is named after the Monaco Grand Prix circuit and the race that occurs thereupon, you could easily fall off the deck of your yacht in Monaco Harbor with this watch on your wrist to no dramatic effect. It is absolutely aquatic. This is a watch that can do it all. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. Back with the Monaco by night.